I am Ľubomír Berec. I work for REMING Consult. I'm responsible for city, environment, IT, and deployment of BIM as such. We are a designer, engineering, and consultation company, and for more than 20 years we deliver A to Z railway projects. We are pioneers of modernizing railways for the speed 160 and 200 kilometers per hour in Slovakia. We are in Bratislava, Žilina, and Košice. We are part of Sudop Group company, international company. If you are on the train and you go from the west to east, many of our projects are deployed at this route. When we talk about BIM and railways, the inputs into or the other European countries started to join BIM environment much sooner. Previously, London, they really went from A to Z, did everything what was supposed to, all of the components. They did have various CDE environments, zillions of documents, everything worked well in this environment. When we take the Czech Republic, they are much faster than us. Next year, they will be obliged to use BIM for projects above a certain financial limit, and then they also do have a decree for modeling for BIM for infrastructure projects. And also this year they should be at the level. They are at level 20%. Next year at 60%, and in 23. 100% of their projects should be carried out through BIM. Unfortunately, we do not have a right policy. So far, it is only kind of an initiative of associations, interest groups, and businesses, and there are more and more software out there in the market, but there is no systemic effort. How do we define BIM? I would use the US. Digital representation of functional and other types of characteristics and structures. This BIM creates a reliable basis for decision making in the life cycle of a structure from the very beginning until the elimination of the building. What kind of advantages BIM offers? Many things only about design, but there are many other components, each and every component, and each of the companies deploying big projects, they do those things anyway, but those individual components are not combined into a big whole. What are the challenges? The employees need to learn new skills, and the company needs to have both software and hardware. And many times, since people have a certain idea what it is, they can't define it as here. We see railways in Petržalka, close to Bratislava, that is to be implemented soon. What do we want to achieve? Why should we start using BIM? We want projects of higher quality and lower the number of mistakes during design, because in 2D designing, maybe we don't realize some of the mistakes. So the lower the number of mistakes, the faster our reaction time, the faster our efficiency, and since we have a more comprehensive module, then we have more specific budget. What do we need to do? We need to define a common environment that will be a backbone of the communication in the nano project. We need to correctly design a BEP or the plan, and we need data standards that we do not have so far under our legislation. This is a visualization from the Žilina project. What kind of why to make videos like that? We do AI and studies, and we need to also deal with public discussions of the projects. And of course, you meet people who can't read the drawings there. And this kind of visualization gives them better idea about how the project would look like, what are we going to do. 3D modeling. It has a clear understanding of a structure. Of course, it brings about easier communication. Of course, it should correspond with the meaningful requirement or request or definition of the investor. Also, it could bring us and it could help us to clearly understand the structure, and it is understandable also to laypersons or persons representatives of the other professions, and it also, this visualization can show us details that we would otherwise not take notice of. This modeling also, a 3D model also brings easier communication. We can visualize individual elements with certain attributes, and we can specify those elements at the site, and we can further review it, and we can coordinate the processes or make needed adjustments. What do we need to do? At the beginning, we need a very good scan either via GPS or 3D. This input is stored in our 3D environment. And based on that, we need to map the state-of-the-art or the status quo, and then develop a new documentation of the project. And since this is a relatively new profession, and we need to align a great number of softwares that need to communicate among each other, and it is a great challenge in order to secure so that there is no loss of information or any data in the transfer or when those softwares communicate. Since we have public projects, many times the questions we get is how will it look like, and they are not all that interested in the functionality. This is a railway stop, the project that we are about to finalize. What should be in 3DA and what not? Of course, you can't connect everything. I wanted to play a little video, and let me try to make it work. This is how our Zaptar group works. Not only it prepares functional schemes for the whole railway, railroad, but it needs to identify where to place the individual elements of the structure. For the train conductor, he or she needs in those signs to be able to stop safely. And this is a Malatsky project where we need to deal with those details. Data standard is actually a birth identification number of each and every element. And so far we are waiting for a certain standard to be accepted in Slovakia and to start working with it. Currently, we just need to test what is out there, and we use different standards that are used. CDE, that means Common Data Environment, for the whole structure. There can be no other data environment. Current data or up-to-date data at any time, that means lower error level, and document coding. Often the documents are copied and it's moved somewhere else, and we need to be able to identify what it is. Reviewing the documentation, CDE is a solution. You can just enter your comment and send it to a responsible person, and with an instruction what he or she needs to do. Approval process. Each and every document has its own cycle. And of course, those cycles are different, and the approval process should really guarantee that only flawless documents are published or go out to the system. If we use coding, the system will be legible and simple and clear. Of course, the documents need to be easily accessible, not only with us or for us, but also at the construction site and for the subcontractors, contractor, and for the investor. What's also important that it may not be the case that there will be two environments at both those two sites, and that the data will be copied manually, and because this only leads to mistakes. Handover of the documents. So far, nobody defines what to do with the data after the delivery, or what to do with the data as such, whether we should give the data back to the client or what to do with it. We, for instance, know that the railway company has its own system for asset management. So far, we haven't had the chance to see whether we can connect our systems, and therefore the handover would be flawless and wouldn't intake any mistakes and errors. What's ahead of us? We need to study and more study. In the future teams, there will be BIM managers, coordinators, programmers, designers. So far, this hasn't been the case. And of course, we also expect the investors will understand that this increased or more time that in the prep, that means cost for designers equal cost savings and time during the implementation of the project. And the better and the earlier we will consult the project, and the better the prep work, the more realistic the price, the value assessment, and the better the implementation. This is a Žilina hub. that is currently being implemented and that we are working at. Thank you very much.